Support WrestleTalk!
Be kind to each other in the comments.
What is going on with Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio being pulled from WWE Hell in a Cell this Sunday? It's happening on SmackDown tonight instead. While we don't exactly have like an official word, we're going to do a fair bit of speculation. It's time to pull into the old speculation station here on the WrestleTalk Podcast. I am Luke Owen, and I'm joined by the hardest working person in all of sports infotainment, Miss Universal Studios herself, Denise Salcedo. How's it going, Denise?
Actually, I now want to be referred to as Hollywood Salcedo on here.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I've always wanted to call you Hollywood Salcedo, but I felt that was a fightful gimmick, and I didn't want to steal it.
No, actually, well, I'm just kidding. Denise Salcedo is fine. But I'm happy to be here once again. Another Friday. I feel like there's so much news. Like, this is the thing about Fridays. I wake up and it's like news, and I'm like, shoot, like I got to get caught up here.
I know, right? And also, we should really start off the show by sending out our congratulations to Cody and Brandy Rhodes and the birth of their daughter. Excellent news, everyone. Let's all get some lovely messages in the chat. Send them nice messages on the old social media as well. Spread some love because we've had a few babies this week, because we also had Moxley and Renee have their little girl as well. So it's just, everyone's just feeling like good vibes. You're vibes.
Right. There's been a lot of babies like in the last, like, how many days has it been since Renee had her baby? A couple days now, right?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
A week, you could say, like within the last 7 days.
Indeed. And because I don't know if you've heard about this, Denise, but it's coming home. Football, that is. Football is coming home. England play Scotland this afternoon or this evening. My father-in-law and my brother-in-law are coming over to watch the football round at my house, and I'm going to have a beer on this show because it's Friday. And it was not as great as not great as the sound I was hoping for, but I know I know you're not a big drinker, but that's fine.
If you don't mind, Gatorade.
If you don't mind, I am going to have myself a little
pour
beer.
Yourself a drink.
I am going to pour myself a drink because it's been a long week and I've had 2 days off work. Anywho, right, let's talk about
2 days off and it's still been a long week.
Do you know why I've had 2 days off, Denise? It's because I have been doing nothing but overtime with this channel for the last month or so. I've been covering for Ollie, I've been covering for Pete. So I had 5 days of holiday, 5 days of loo time that I needed to take. And I've still got days to take yet. So I'm working this weekend because it's Hell in a Cell and Ollie's not here. So I've got to do the review on Monday. Right. Speaking of Hell in a Cell, it was supposed to have Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio for the Blue Universal Championship. And then, out of the blue, I woke up this morning and WWE have tweeted out, it's not happening at Hell in a Cell anymore. It's now happening on SmackDown. Denise, your thoughts?
So I first saw somebody, I think it might have been Sean. He quote retweeted. I saw the graphic, but I didn't read the tweet and I didn't read the post. And I just went on Twitter for a second. I was like, same old. And I left. And I walked around. And then my fiance was like, Denise, have you seen the announcement that was made? And I was like, what announcement? He saw that Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns are wrestling at Hell in a Cell on Friday. And I was like, tomorrow? He's like, tomorrow. And I was like, tomorrow? I was like, are you sure you read that right? And he's all like, yes, I read that. I was like, I don't believe you. So I was like, are you sure? Then I was like, this is on WWE.com. They announced it. I went through this whole checking process. And then I finally went on Twitter and I was like, okay, I'm going to go check the website. So I went on WWE's Twitter account and I saw the post and I read it 3 times. I was like, tomorrow on Friday on SmackDown. And I just don't know. I think it's very, very strange. Very, very strange. Yeah. And I feel like it's got to mean something.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you don't just pull a match from the card, just, a few days before the card's in place, right? It's a weird thing to do. And Meltzer wrote about this in The Observer, and he said, as far as what happened, there's no involved reason that made any sense. The word we were told is that you can't describe why. There were just a bunch of decisions on Thursday, and the discussions ended up being, let's do it on SmackDown. as of press time, the plans are not for Roman Reigns to be wrestling on the pay-per-view. Because that's what some people like thoughts. Like, okay, well, we'll do the Rey match on SmackDown, and maybe we'll do Dominic at Hell in a Cell or something, or maybe we'll switch it to Jimmy Uso. We'll do something around that. And according to Meltzer, at the very least, you know, as best we know it now, it's this match on SmackDown. Roman is not going to be on Hell in a Cell. Like, and for me, that suggests that they got something planned for whatever the main event of the show is. And Roman has said he's not wrestling on a show unless he's the main event. So you kind of like, maybe you want to move him away from the pay-per-view so you can put someone else in the main event, perhaps?
So the thing that I was like thinking, like even just a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about this on my show, was that I really don't understand. Well, not don't understand, but I really do think that, like, for example, Roman Reigns, somebody who's such a treasured commodity right now on the roster, because, you know, kind of everything that you do with him has to be really well thought out. You don't want to just do like anything with him like you would with any of the other talent, because he really is having the best storyline right now on SmackDown. Heck, on all of WWE, he's one of the most protected guys, you can say. Somebody that they have a lot riding on. And that was one of the things that I had mentioned earlier, was I don't understand why they would even put Roman Reigns in the pay-per-view. And the reason for that is he doesn't have like a notable, but he doesn't have a hot challenger right now. Like, yeah, he's doing this whole storyline with Jimmy and Jey Uso, but that still hasn't culminated to the point where, if let's say they want to do Jimmy, let's just say their plan is to do Jimmy Uso versus Roman Reigns. Like, that's not going to happen at Hell in a Cell. And that's the thing, is that I think somebody like Roman Reigns, I'd rather have him off the pay-per-view than have him essentially be in this meaningless match. And like, yeah, if it's like, I was okay with like, all right, cool. If they're going to have him in a match with somebody, it's going to be Rey Mysterio. Because I was like, okay, at least that'll be a lot of fun. You know, that Rey Mysterio is going to bump like crazy for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is just going to kill the guy. I mean, that's pretty much what we would expect from a Hell in a Cell. But the thing is that it was like a 1 week's build. Like, they literally just had the attack on SmackDown and that's it. Like, first and foremost, you shouldn't even be doing that with the Hell in a Cell. Like, that's why I hate the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, because this is supposed to be like only select feuds of the year that have just gotten so crazy that you have to end it in a Hell in a Cell. Now it's like, oh, well, we were mad for a week in an attack, so Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is coming up. Let me challenge you to a Hell in a Cell match. And so it's just like, I prefer for Roman Reigns to be off the pay-per-view versus actually being in there if it's not like a meaningful challenger or a meaningful feud. But at the same time, I can't even defend it because now it's on SmackDown, which kind of makes it a little bit worse. And I'm thinking, like, why the hell are you going to have a Hell in a Cell on SmackDown? I
was going to say, and it's still inside Hell in a Cell. It's funny, actually. I had a big laugh because you and I were in the same boat, where we both thought that Bobby versus Drew was inside Hell in a Cell before they announced it.
Yes. Oh, you heard me on the podcast when they announced the signing and they made it like a big deal. I was like, oh, my bad. Yeah. I jumped the boat here, or jumped the
same thing. I was getting ready for the day, and I was listening to you and Sean's podcast, and you said, I thought it was already, and I was like, me too. I already thought they'd announced that.
I just feel like it's a given now. Like, I feel like you already know which matches are going to be in the Hell in a Cell. So it's not even a big deal. And I was like, really? Like, let's say there was a real crowd. Who in the crowd was actually going to be like, oh, dare he say it? Yes, he did a Hell in a Cell match. Who would have thought?
Oh, they'd have popped. They'd have popped still. Everyone pops for a Hell in a Cell. Okay, so I'm now going to...
Really, Luke? I don't think so.
Yeah, of course they're going to always pop for a Hell in a Cell. It's nostalgia, isn't it? People are going to be like, Mankind, Undertaker, King of the Ring 98. We'll go back to that again. But
it's not like it's something that's rare, where it's like, oh my God, the Hell in a Cell has been gone for the last 10 years and we're bringing it back. All right, great. No, this is something that we already knew and saw coming.
So I'm going to veer us slightly here into speculation station, if you don't mind. So here's my thinking. I think that Fox and NBC are going to have a bit of sway within not so much WWE booking, but presentation. To me, I was thinking about this today. Is this a Fox decision? Because Fox have, maybe they're looking at the ratings and being like, the ratings for this show aren't as strong as we thought they would be when we bought this show. So why don't you just put this match onto TV instead? And I was kind of thinking like, okay, well, maybe I was piecing this all together in my mind. Is like, maybe that could be the case. And I'm thinking about how like WrestleVotes tweeted out that there's going to be more themed live shows in the coming year or so. We're going to get Raw Roulette, Old School Raw, which is always a USA NBC decision. Like they love Legends Night, things like that, because they're a good like ratings bump, viewers choice and things like that. And then Fightful had that report that came out just the other day about how, NBC are pitching tie-in shows with their other sports that they have. So they're going to do like a NASCAR crossover with WWE. This is what NBC are pitching to WWE. We're going to do like a NASCAR crossover, an NFL crossover. So we'll have like football themed matches, NASCAR themed matches, so that we can essentially cross promote all of our things. They even pitched, and I love this, a points month, where wrestlers earn points by winning matches and like doing signature moves and things like that. Sounds like a really wacky concept. It'll, it's Raw Underground. It'll last 3 weeks and we'll move on with the rest of our lives. So I thought to myself, do you think this could have been a Fox call as opposed to a WWE call?
I feel like based on the direction that they were heading and how this was just sprung on us out of nowhere, my estimation would be that it was a Fox call, or maybe just them really pushing for it. What their reasoning is obviously would have to be like people getting in to actually watch the show. That's honestly like, that's the way it feels like. Like, I don't feel like they just suddenly decide, you know what, let's take this match off of the, our pay-per-view that's going to be on the Peacock and put it on SmackDown. Like, that to me just kind of seems very counterproductive to what they had already been doing. So I feel like it had to be some sort of, outside person, and whether it, be obviously in Fox, basically saying, hey, like, let's put this match on this show, because there really is, maybe we're all going to look like we have egg on our face come Sunday night when we actually see what the plan was, and who knows, maybe it's this brilliant thing that none of us are expecting, and I don't think so, but I could at least get my hopes up a little bit. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's so weird, and like even today it's gonna be weird, but I'm very interested to see how many more people are actually going to tune in to this show, knowing that there's going to be this big Hell in a Cell match. And obviously no one is expecting Rey Mysterio to win, but I think we're all expecting a match.
I think we're going to, and we saw it with Daniel Bryan a few weeks back when he had the title match with Roman on SmackDown. Like, that bumped a rating. And I think they're going up against some big sports games today. So like, maybe it is just a case of just like, we're looking to bump this rating somewhat. So let's move this thing. Like you said, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. No one's going into this thing and like, hey, Rey Mysterio could win the title, because no one is thinking this. Rich Swann had a better chance of beating Kenny Omega than Rey Mysterio's got of beating Roman Reigns. So like, I think this could be a nice little ratings bump for SmackDown, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you get the ratings bump this week, but then next week it returns back to where it was. And then it goes down again. So you're like, oh, now we've got to do the ratings bump again. And all of a sudden you end up hot-shotting things for that mythical ratings bump.
Well, I feel like right now it feels like they're hot-shotting things because, again, this doesn't look like this was a clear intention of what they were going to do. But if they were actually to pace themselves and, prepare things for the actual show, and then, build even bigger things for the actual pay-per-view shows, then that would be great, because SmackDown has been getting a little stale, a little repetitive each and every single week. And I do think that they need something like this that, kind of adds a little spark into the actual show. And also, when you talk about like the crossover stuff, I don't understand why they didn't do this like forever ago, because this is a great idea. And I don't know if you saw, but like, God, I think it was like a couple of months ago, but like Nickelodeon was doing this crossover with the NFL. And it was just
really?
I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I'm not like a fan of football or anything like that by any means, but I did think that crossover of the NFL and Nickelodeon was a pretty cool concept. And I feel like the whole NASCAR thing, like, that would be so awesome. And it's like, you got to do right now, if you have the power to actually maybe get some eyeballs from a different audience, like, this is the time to do it. Like, this really is it. Like, they gotta do everything possible to at least try to get those ratings up.
Well, let's see what you have to say about this in our Ultra Chats. Please do get your Ultra Chats in using the link in the video description down below. Also, while you're there, why not give us a little subscribe? Press that thumbs up button, tap the bell for notifications. We really do appreciate all of your support. Misha says on the subject of Hell in a Cell, regarding Aleister Black, accepted wisdom says that Nick Khan has been pushing the cost cutting and has garnered a lot of power recently. Is he the bring back Black plan wholly or partly an excuse to undermine him and weaken his position? So this is in regards to the news that apparently Tommy End having like AEW having interest in the former Aleister Black, now Tommy End, has sparked WWE to be like, maybe we shouldn't have released him. Time to bring this guy back in.
I don't know, man. I don't know because for me, it's complicated to think that way because there's certain talent where I think we were talking about this last week. Like, I feel like that's something I would analyze first. Like, hey, is this somebody that's going to hurt us if they move on to the, to the other team or to the other competitor, whatever you want to call AEW to WWE? Like, is it going to hurt us? I feel like that's something that should have been thought about in advance. But it kind of seems to me though, like WWE kind of already had, like they were already second guessing themselves and maybe already thinking about bringing back Aleister Black because I don't know, it was a little weird. Like even after he left, he was very like protective of the company and very apologetic and don't blame Vince and don't blame the company and blame the fans and blame the wrestling media and this and that. And so I don't know, it kind of, it all got very, very iffy there to the point where I'm thinking, all right, you're either gunning for your job back or I don't know what's happening there.
Projection 2K said, I've got a sneaky suspicion that they might pull some spooky and have the Shayna Alexa match inside Hell in a Cell. What do you guys think?
Oh God, that would be no, please don't do that. I think I would cry. I would cry because then I would have to go and review it and then just no. I don't want to see that.
Are you not excited for Shayna Alexa this weekend?
I don't want to see it like in the main event or anything like that.
I'm not saying it's going to be the main event.
Of, like Lily in a Hell in a Cell, and Lily all of a sudden brings up flames from her doll fingers.
I mean, I think we're going to get some form of cinematic match this Sunday. Kind of in the same way, not cinematic as in like, Firefly Funhouse sort of thing, but cinematic in the Alexa Bliss Randy match that they had. God, do you remember Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton had a match on pay-per-view this year? It feels like forever ago. Where like crap falls down from the ceiling, this and the other, because like she possessed Reginald at the end of their match, like this past week. So surely there's got to be something in that, right?
So what, because as of right now, it's not in a Hell in a Cell. What if they do make it in a Hell in a Cell? And then that way she can't, like the cell is blocking, so she can't use her powers to like drop stuff onto the actual cell.
Well, no, but yeah, I mean, or is it going to be she uses her magical powers to create the Hell in a Cell around them?
Out of what?
Out of like, basically like, she just sort of like snaps her fingers and stuff and a Hell in a Cell appears around them. She could spring a like a swing set out of nowhere. So like, why can't she spring a build a cell out of nowhere?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't think about that. I've underrated her.
Underestimated.
Thank you. I was like, under something. What is the word? I underestimated Alexa Bliss's powers. Thank you.
And lastly, for the moment, Jared says, with AEW's ratings down, but they're outpacing WWE in ticket sales, what do you think this says about the industry? I've asked you all before about the broken TV rating system, but not sure if this is proof or if that's reliable or just a coincidence. AEW's ratings are down at the moment because they're in a different time slots. Like that is the short and skinny of it, basically. It's just they're on a different day on a different time slot. Like Meltzer wrote about this in the Observer today. He's like, do you want to talk about, viewers being creatures of habit? AEW here in the UK usually does, I think it does like over 100,000 viewers or something because it's on free terrestrial TV. Broadly anyway, it's on digital TV, but like it usually does over 100,000 viewers on a Friday night when it's on. Now that it's on a Wednesday, it's doing like 25, 30. Because people don't know when it's on. People are so unused to that time slot. They're not switching over. They're not changing their viewing habits. So yeah, basically like AEW's ratings aren't down because of the product. It's down because it's just on a different day.
I think people are definitely creatures of habit, and it's very obvious that the Friday night time slot just is not the best because it's like, think about like everything that could happen. There could be, I don't know how many people out there that are actually watching both SmackDown and AEW, and that's
Not there.
still a lot of, that's 4 hours of wrestling that you have to
Too
sit there
much.
for, and commercials. You can't even like fast forward if you're watching live. And let's say you're somebody that's like, well, I'm just going to watch AEW. Okay, yeah, but then you're still waiting for it to happen so late, and it's Friday night. And what if you, I don't know, while you were waiting, you found a movie. So now you're doing that. Maybe you started binge watching the TV show. Maybe you went out with your friends since, things are opening up again. Like, there's just so much that can happen during that time that can easily make whatever, even if you had plans to watch the show, not even watch it because, life happened and you decided to leave your house or something, so it does suck. And I feel bad because, it sucks because like I feel like they were getting a rhythm already, and like I hope that when they go back, they don't see, like when they go back to Wednesdays finally, I hope that they don't not have some of those people come back because it's like, oh well, I already missed 3 weeks of AEW Dynamite. I'm just not gonna watch this week. I'll come back whenever. You don't know.
So easy for people to fall out of routines. So easily for people to just sort of like, I've missed that now for a few weeks, so I guess I just won't catch up on that then.
Yeah, exactly. It happens. Like, it happens to me all the time. Where, like, let's say I'm watching a TV show and like I was so into the first 3 seasons, and then we took that long break, and the new season comes back, and I'm like, well, I don't even want to try. I'm done already.
I have it with podcasts. I have it with podcasts. Like if I have like a podcast that's got like 3 episodes that I've not listened to because I release it on a weekly basis, and I'm like, oh man, I'm 3 episodes behind. I may not get a chance to like catch up on this because I've got new podcasts that are also coming out because I, probably listened to too many. That then kind of like stops me getting into a rhythm of listening to that show. And then but before I know it, there's been like 2-3 months where I've not listened to that show. And then before I know it, off it deletes because I'm like, well, I'm not catching up on that, I guess.
That's so crazy. See, like for me, it's different with podcasts. Like I chime in like here and there, but for me, it's more like that with TV shows.
Cool. Right. Well, let's get into all of your Patreon mailbag questions. If you've got a question for the mailbag, dearie me, and you want to submit it, all you got to do is become one of our awesome pledge hammers on Patreon at any dollar amount. Leave a comment in the community tab labeled mailbag. Do not email me. We'll just lose it. I am bad at my job. Right. Here we go. Harrison, great name, starts us off by saying, can AEW ever emerge from the shadow cast by WWE and its legacy and cement itself as a genuine competitive brand of mainstream entertainment? I would say they already have established themselves as that, but what do you think?
I would say there's still little bits to go, especially to get out of the shadow, out of WWE shadow. I think there's still ways to go, but that's only natural. I mean, if you think about it, there's still a new company. They still, they don't even have like 5 years, 10 years underneath their belt just yet. So I feel like they're going down the right path. It's just, you got to give it time.
Exactly. Gary says, I'm a big fan of women's wrestling in general, and it's always disappointing with how little time they're given to establish characters on TV. My question is, although it has been discussed previously about an all-women's brand, do you think it would actually be a better idea to have a secondary women's show on the network in the same style as 205 Live? I think the problem there is that I don't think many people are going to tune in for it because, 205 Live are people still watching that on the network? Do people watch NXT UK when it's a network exclusive show? You could do that as a way to like develop characters, but unless you're seeing those characters on Raw and SmackDown, I don't think it's going to like change anything.
No, I don't want to because I have a feeling like if you start something like that, let's say they do their own version of 205 Live or something like you just mentioned, I feel like they will quickly become a background, a forgotten thing of just on this show. And all of a sudden they're getting even less time on Raw and SmackDown. So I personally wouldn't necessarily want it. It's just more of like, there are like Alexa Bliss is getting TV time, like being like a little bit, but it's just, I don't know what it is. Like they just need to, obviously they need to do more, but I don't know if maybe they just don't feel like they have the right person right now to actually devote all of that time to. Because they're devoting a lot of time to Bailey, to Sasha, but Becky and all of those women. But now it's like, it's gone down drastically.
Yeah, although there were 4 women's matches on Raw this week.
There
like,
was?
they're like a load. And do you know what? Like, as I said on my review, perhaps controversially so, the Eva Marie thing was my second favorite thing on the show. I thought it was great.
Oh God,
Dude.
I thought it was horrible.
Oh, dude, it's great, man. I think it's a really cool. Like, I love Viper being like Viper being this sort of like, you know, this brand. She is not Viper from WOS Wrestling. She's not Piper Niven from NXT UK. She's this brand new character, Dewdrop. And I think she is going to be really great in that role of someone who just has bought into Eva Marie's bollocks, her Instagram lark. And it's just like, she's an inspirational fighter to me. I'm going to wrestle and dominate on her behalf. And Eva Marie is going to count those wins for her. And then, like, I think you put the title on, like, eventually you put the title on Viper, and she's like, I'm not the champion. Eva Marie is the champion. I think there's a lot of legs to that. I think that's going to be great, man.
I hate it. I'm not a fan of it. And I hope that it gets better so that I don't feel like I don't have to not like it. But as of right now, I do not like it. There's nothing that interests me about it. And I'm just not a fan. Now, hopefully I feel differently next week. We'll see. I'm open to changing my mind. I'm open to discussion. But as of right now, I don't like it. Okay, what was I going to say about this? There was something where, so one of the things that I was going to touch on is that you mentioned, like, there was 4 women's matches on Monday Night Raw. And they had them literally announced like within the first 20 minutes. I was like, oh shoot. It was like, okay, we're kicking it off with this match. And then they had already announced 3 more matches. I think at that point they even had a backstage segment. I thought, all right, cool. But it's like, it's not even just about the TV time. It's about actually giving the women substance too.
That's exactly
what is lacking. Like, it's not, oh my gosh, they got 20 minutes on a 3-hour show today. That's not, that's a plus, but I don't think it's anything to celebrate unless it's actual, something that you can care about. Like, because you think about, like, what they were doing with Eva Marie, I'm not a fan of, or what they're doing with Charlotte and Rhea. This Monday was good because they had that whole brawl and all of that, but everything else has been like not good. Then you think about
that Flair Nikki Cross match would that Rhea Nikki, the Charlotte Nikki Cross match, like, that sucked. Awful.
Like,
dude, it was bad.
Like, it was however minutes of a match, but I'm not going to celebrate about that if it was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad stuff. I like this from Chris, who just said, Luke wants Eva Marie as the women's champion and Lily as a tag team champion. We are in the darkest timeline.
Luke, are you WWE creative? Reveal yourself. You are the one giving Bruce Pritchard all of the ideas. He comes in and he's like, oh yeah, that Luke fella, he knows what he's talking about.
It's about time Bruce listened to me. Peter says, hey, Danuk, a quick one from me. I've been loving the introduction of Sully into the WrestleTalk cinematic universe via Quizzlemania. What a kind and posh man. It took me by surprise how much I loved this random extra person on something I already loved. He really is authentically Sully. My question for you, has this ever happened to you, where a new personality was added to something you love, and instead of dismissing it out of hand, it made the thing you like even better?
That's a really great question.
I've got an answer for this one, actually. I think, anyway. So one of my favorite wrestling podcasts is the Attitude Era podcast, the AE podcast boys. I love them. I think Kevin, Billy, and Adam are a superb trio. Absolutely adore them together. I think they're really, really great. And then Kevin started doing podcasts with his girlfriend, Joanna. And I was like, cool, okay, they're doing another podcast. And I listened to it and I was like, man, Joanna's awesome. Like, she's so great. So now I really like their podcast as well. And then when Joanna's done stuff with the AE podcast and when AEW have done stuff with her as well, I'm like, she is an excellent addition. And they've now got a podcast where they're reviewing episodes of Ramsey's Kitchen Nightmares USA. And it's Kevin, Joe, and Adam. I'm like, this is a wonderful trio. So yeah, that's my answer to this.
I'm glad you have an answer. I don't have one. I'm trying to think of something. And I'm like, I don't know. Because I was like, there's always TV shows where they like incorporate new characters into the next seasons and this and that. But I can't think of anybody where I was like, oh my God, yes, they're so great. I'm so happy that they're part of this now. I don't know.
I think there are people who have warmed to you. Like, you came in, you've done the show with me now. There are people that love the show because of you. I
love like Sully, though. I didn't come in here with all of this British flavor,
No, granted. But I think you were liked more than I was when I first started, man. People were like, oh, dude, oh no. I mean, you weren't here during the dark time. It wasn't my own channel because it was
You were
Ollie
like
on his.
one of the main people at some point.
But there was a period of time when I wasn't, because it was Ollie on his own for a year. And so people watched it because it was him and it was his channel and he was the only guy. I came in and people were like, "You're not Ollie," and it was bad news. Like, it was a bad time.
What were people saying about you?
Oh, just like I was like, I mean, I kind of remember, like, because I've blocked a lot of it out because I got a lot of like hateful like crap and stuff. But yeah, people did not like me at all when I first joined. Not like Laurie. When Laurie came in, people really warmed to him straight away. But people did not warm to me, like, off the bat at all.
You're like, thanks a lot. Thanks.
That's what the comments were saying. Like, cool, a new guy. Yeah, don't like this one.
No, it happens because people are afraid of change and they don't want, like, somebody here to ruin something that they've been a fan of, this and that. And so, yeah, I get you. So we weren't instantly loved like Sully.
Yeah, I mean, look, Darren said, I had nuclear heat. I did
You
when I
did?
first joined. Oh, yeah. Honestly, it was horrible. It was awful. Declan Malloy said, to mix it up from the Triple H talk, I wanted to ask you about AEW's tag team division. Who do you think will be the team to beat the Young Bucks, and when will it be? To me, the obvious answer would be Jurassic Express. I don't think we have. I don't think we have done it on this show.
Oh, I feel like we've gotten this question before.
I think we may have people. We often get a lot of like, when do you think this person's going to lose their titles? But I don't think we've had maybe we have had the Young Bucks before. Because I think I've said the Dark Order.
I remember at some point in my life answering this question. I was like, I just remember it. I just don't remember where.
Yeah, because I think my answer probably would have been the same regardless, which is I think the Dark Order should win the belts.
Okay, see, you weren't on this show because I would have remembered your answer. Maybe this happened on Quizlemania.
Oh, maybe it's on Quizlemania then, because I haven't been on Quizlemania for a while.
Yeah, I think it might have been on Quizlemania where we were asked this question. I forgot what I said. I think I would have remembered what you said, but I forgot what I would have said. Because I know somebody mentioned Santana and Ortiz, which I agreed with. Somebody mentioned I think somebody mentioned the Lucha Brothers. And you know what? I think I went with Jurassic Express.
Chris says, hi, Denise and Luke. It's Friday, and I probably had another week of everyone attacking Alexa because it's the cool thing to do, despite everyone loving her at the start of this character. Here's my thing. Can we stop asking for her to be released? She doesn't deserve all this hate. She gets every day. And let me finish, because I do have something to say for Chris here, but let me finish his question first. She doesn't deserve all of the hate she gets every day and everything she does. Can you think of another person who gets this amount of hate when that she gets? It's not her fault. Hate Vince, not Alexa. Please, last time I'll ask this on here, but it makes me not want to be part of the community or how it treats her. Chris, I am being deadly serious when I say this, because Chris left like 4 or 5 messages in the community tab this week around this sort of topic. Whatever community you are a part of, get yourself away from it, because it is clearly like it's not happening in our community. In the WrestleTalk thing, I do this show every single week, and I have done for years. I've been doing it every single week since Alexa attended this character. Not a single person in our bubble has asked for Alexa Bliss to be released. No one is doing that from the website perspective. No one is doing this from the podcast perspective. When I'm going on Twitter, no one is asking for her to be released there. When I'm on Reddit, no one is asking for her to be released there. Whatever community you have become a part of that is doing this and it is clearly affecting you personally, remove yourself from that, because it is not doing you any good.
That is such a great PSA, Luke.
Yeah, exactly. Because like,
hey, who's doing this? No one on my circles that I know of is doing this.
Oh, that's what I mean. So yes, like I think you can get yourself like trapped in these bubbles where you think like everyone is attacking, and we haven't been fans of the Alexa Bliss character and the storylines of these years, but like that's not her fault. And we've never said she is the problem and we should all hate her because the Raw sucks because Alexa Bliss is a terrible person. No, we've said the character is bad and I'm not into this storyline. Like there's a vast difference there. So that is my heartfelt and a really heartfelt plea that if you found yourself in that situation, you need to remove yourself from it because it's not doing you any good.
Yeah, I think people like that just aren't probably all there. Like if you can't separate the character and the real life person, you're probably not all there.
That Welsh guy said, you briefly touched on the idea of Randy Orton in All Elite Wrestling last week, and it got the old brain going. In a parallel world where Randy Orton did become All Elite, what matchups would you have liked to have seen most out of him?
Probably him and Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big one, right?
Him and John Moxley would be good too. That would be pretty fun, I think. Him and Pac would be fun. Him and Pac would be fun.
Oh, Cassidy's a superb answer. Like seeing Orton's like comedic timing that he's had recently with Riddle, him working with Cassidy would have been so good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Jonathan Hedman said, what do you think the toilets in the Star Wars universe look like and who builds them?
I have no idea. A little star. A little star.
Little star.
It's just a little star. And it's like, pick your end. Which end do you want to sit on? Or I don't know.
There you go.
Have they never shown toilets in the movies?
Well, no, because it's not like, I mean, how many movies do you know, like big action blockbusters where it's just like, Tony Stark's gonna be like, I mean, yeah, we could go get the Infinity Stones, but I've got to take a wicked sweet dump first, then we'll go and do some like avenging stuff.
I don't know. But you know what? That would be more realistic. I'm sure a couple of them got to go drop a deuce before they go into, action. Imagine you got to go while you're fighting some like massive, I don't know, person.
Exactly, yeah. See, if you're like, Tony Stark in those first few Iron Man movies where it takes him forever to get the suit on and stuff, be like, oh man, this could be really difficult.
I'm bloated today. Suit's not coming on. I'm bloated. I had some Taco Bell last night.
Oh man, it did not sit well with me. I am so sorry. I know the Winter Soldier is really threatening the safety of America, but man,
a realistic superhero movie. Like there you go.
Yeah, my hay fever's really kicking up a storm. I can't go outside today. I'm just going to highlight this answer as well on the Randy Orton thing from Jeremiah. Eddie Kingston.
Yep, that's a good one too.
Oh, that's a great answer. Riley said, hi guys. Have you ever thought about getting a wrestling related tattoo?
No.
Which wrestler's tattoo? No. You don't have any tattoos, do you?
No. Huh?
You don't have any tattoos, do you?
I do actually.
Do you really? I did not know about you. Where's your tattoo?
I have a 10-inch one on my back.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Whereabouts on your back?
Like back here. Like it's
really?
Like my here to like about here.
What's it of?
You can't really tell. It's a sword with wings and fire, and
What?
there's some Taylor Swift lyrics, and there's like plants. It's a very colorful one.
Dude, I didn't know you're such a badass with your sword tattoo.
Luke, I really hope you're not buying this. I hope that everyone here knows my lying voice and lying.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did it first until I was like, sword and flames around it. This doesn't sound like a.
In what world would I have a 10-inch tattoo with a volcano on it?
I did start like I was like, I'm pretty sure Denise doesn't have any tattoos.
Back. And the only reason I came up with a sword because I was like, oh shit, what tattoos are there? And then I remember Brock Lesnar's sword tattoo.
That's what someone said. Brock Salcedo over here.
That's why I said a sword, because I was like, okay, well, think of a giant tattoo. And the first person that came to my mind was Brock Lesnar. And I was like, well, everybody always has wings. All right, a sword with wings and a volcano and some plants. And I added Taylor Swift lyrics just to make it a tad bit believable.
Denise,
I do not have any tattoos whatsoever.
I'm not alone here. Gate Crusher. What a work. Darn it. I got work. Denise worked me. I got worked. No! We all got worked, brother. We all got worked.
Damn, long-term storytelling right there. Everybody thought I was this good, clean-cut kid. And then I come in here with, I got a big 10-inch tattoo on my back.
10-inch badass tattoo of swords and flames and crap.
Yeah, no one's seen my back, so it's not like people would know if this is true or not.
That's what I figured. I was like, I've never seen Denise's back. Like, I've only ever seen her front.
Exactly. That's why I went with it. Can you, if I got, no, it just would, it's not my style. I'm very like, blunt, not like, I'm pretty plain. I'm a pretty plain gal when it comes to, bodily stuff. My little sister got a nose piercing. I don't know if you saw my tweet about it. I nearly passed out.
Because you got a nose piercing.
She's 15.
Yeah, I think my wife got her nose pierced when she was about 15, maybe.
Okay, well, see, there you go. Like, for me, like, the only thing that I ever pierced was my ears and my belly button. And even then, I was, like, 18 with the belly. So, like, for me, it's a little out there.
Oh, I mean, when I turned 18 and I went to university, within like 2 weeks of me being at university, I got my first tattoo, and it was just
Oh.
yeah, and it was just like I got my Jason one on my arm,
Oh, okay.
and it cost me £40, and it's every bit of 40. It looks every bit of £40. Even in 2004 money, it looks every bit of £40.
Wait, is that like a bad price or a good price?
Oh, it's a better bat. That's a very cheap price for a tattoo, like
Oh.
full color as well, and it's not a small tattoo either.
So wait,
So
you're
yeah, like
telling me you hate your tattoo?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Like it's a wonderful part of me, and it's a fun story, and it's very much me at 18 years old, and I love it for that. And my wife likes it as well, but I think it is like, I mean, at times it looks like it was done in crayon. It is not the world's greatest tattoo. I could probably get
Getting like your wife's name on yourself or her face on you or something like that.
I've never got that. Like my best man at my wedding, when he got married a few years before me, we went to go get tattoos together because he had his ex-wife's name tattooed on his back. So he had to go get that covered up, and he got this big like crow thing to cover it up. So I would never get someone's tattoo. Like, as much as like my wife is never leaving my side, at least I'm never leaving hers. She may leave me at some point. But I would I don't think I would. But we've got matching tattoos. The pair of us have got the same tattoo.
Which one?
One on my wrist.
What is that?
So it is the altitude tracker for the Inca Trail towards Machu Picchu, because we did that together.
Oh, that's so cute. I like that. That's really cute.
Yeah, she's got it on her foot, and I've got it on my wrist. My sister-in-law.
I've never seen your tattoos. This is a first for me.
Yeah, and I've got one on my chest as well of Legend of Zelda, the like your heart tracker on that, like your health meter. I've got that, and I've got like a little. I got a hit taken off of me because I turned 30, and I'm like, that's a third of my life done with, so I'm going to take off some of this health bar.
See, you're a lot more edgier than I am, Luke.
Oh, I'm so edgy. But anyway, would I get a wrestling related tattoo? Probably not. I don't think
Get a giant WWE logo right here on your neck.
Yeah, like a Cody Rhodes thing. Get like the New Japan
Cody?
belt.
You should get like the WrestleTalk logo or like WrestleTalk Podcast all over your neck.
So I am funny actually. So when we launched our merchandise line, when we did like a big launch of it and everything, we did like a photo shoot for everything. People have seen the video like we did for it. It was a lot of fun, and we had like Rampage Brown coming in. Like he basically like chopped us all wearing our t-shirts and stuff to promote it. It was a lot of fun. We had a line that we were working with the tattoo artist called Foreign Objects, which were these really nice like white t-shirts, and they would have like wrestling weapons on them, so like kendo sticks and steel chairs and this and the other. We thought it was a really nice kind of like, we were trying to like make it sort of like a smart brand, right? To promote it, we were all going to get tattoos of the various items to sort of like promote that. So I was going to get the kendo stick one going up my arm there.
Like a real tattoo?
A real tattoo, yeah. Laurie was going to get one done. Pete was going to get one done. I don't think Davis was, but I think it might have just been me, Laurie, and Pete that were going to do it. And we were going to go to the tattoo artist that we were working with, and we were going to do a big drive up. We were going to do a big like vlog about it and this and the other. And then COVID happened, and then we never went. And unfortunately, that idea has sort of like slipped under the radar now. So I don't think it'll ever happen.
Well, you guys had more time to think about whether or not it's something you really want to do.
I wanted to do it. I thought it would have been really cool. I thought it would have been quite smart, especially because like it looked really nice, and I thought it looked like quite cool on my arm.
See, I think like once you get a tattoo, like I feel like you're a little bit more prone to like obviously getting more versus like somebody like me that's never had a tattoo would put a lot of thought into it and whether or not you would actually really want. I just can't think of something that like I would want forever. And then also, like, I think about, like, certain things that, like, you just get tired of. Like, a necklace, for example. I could put a necklace on and wear it 5 days a week, right? By the end of the week, I'm like, I never want to see this necklace ever again in my entire life. So now it's like, can you imagine if it was a tattoo? I would never be able to get rid of it unless I get laser.
Well, yeah, I mean, as I said, it's the one on my arm. Like, it was a real cool idea at the time to have a Jason Voorhees slashing his way out of my arm and like peeling the skin back, because I thought it was super cool because I'm 18. I'm 35 now, I'm going to be soon enough. I'm going to be 40. Before you know it, I'm going to be in my 50s. And I'm still going to have Jason Voorhees cutting his way out of my arm.
When you're 90, you're going to still have it, or you're 100. And they'll be like, "Oh, Grandpa, what is that?"
I ain't making it to 90. Callum said, "What death on a TV show makes you cry every time you watch it?" For me, it's Charlie's death in Lost. I'm fairly certain that Callum has asked us this before, and I don't think I've ever had a good answer for it.
No, I don't think we've been asked this. Well,
maybe it was on an old episode that me and Ollie did, but I'm pretty sure we've asked this before from Callum, only because Callum mentioned Charlie's death in Lost, and I'm fairly certain Callum's mentioned that in a fair few questions before.
I remember. Well, see, in TV shows, I cry. I've cried. I remember crying in Lost, but I don't remember what I was crying about. Something happened. I don't remember what, but I did cry. I just don't remember what happened. And then also, the only time I've ever cried, there's 2 movies that where the characters die, even though I know the ending, I still cry. And there's 2 movies that will make me cry each and every single time, no matter how many times I've seen it. Titanic with Jack and Selena with Selena. I will cry anytime. Anytime, every time. You don't know Selena?
No, what's Selena?
You don't know Selena Quintanilla?
No, no. What is it?
You don't know Selena?
No.
Look, stop it. Stop it right now.
All right, I'm going to have a quick Google of it now.
How do you not know Selena?
Selena, it's a 1997 movie.
An icon.
She's a person. Okay.
Yeah, she's a person.
And it's got Jennifer Lopez in it.
Oh my God. Okay, so Selena, she was a singer. Okay, she sang Spanish and she was getting into English music. She was very big. She was murdered. Okay, she was murdered by a woman named Yolanda who was I think she was stealing money from her. And Selena was really nice, right? But the girl was thinking, I don't know, she was thinking the worst. So she panicked and she killed Selena. And Selena died very young. If Selena didn't die, she would be the biggest music star out there, especially considering the fact that she was crossing over into English, American music. And she's from Texas. I mean, there's a whole story on her. There's a movie. There's a terrible series. But watch the movie. It's fantastic. And any person that you meet that's Hispanic or Latino or whatever, they'll be nobody hates Selena. You cannot say anything bad about Selena. Everybody loves Selena. She has these classic songs, both in Spanish and in English. And you might have even heard some of their English songs are on the radio.
It might be, but she may not have broken over into the UK. So that might be why I don't know.
Had Yolanda not killed her.
Exactly. So she may have broken through, but I don't recall. And I this is 97, there's been 90s. I was well into my music. Her
legacy has lived on forever. So she if she would have not passed away and all of that, Jennifer Lopez would not have been a thing. Jennifer Lopez got famous off of playing Selena.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
This role? No, yes, come on now.
Luke, yes.
Hold
Jennifer
the phone.
Lopez
Jennifer Lopez.
Thing if Selena did not die and she didn't take the role of Selena.
I'm not sure I buy that one.
God knows what, something else, okay?
She was already in Money Train. She was the lead in Anaconda in the same year.
Selena that made her famous. Yes, look, you just heard of Selena 2 minutes ago. I'm telling you here.
But I've heard of Jennifer Lopez. She was the lead in Anaconda in the same year.
Made her famous. There's got to be other people here that know what I'm talking about.
I mean, the chat's 50-50 on this. Everyone else is just I can't believe you don't know who she is.
I don't know, British audience. Apparently, she never made it to the UK.
There's a very chance that she did not make it to the UK. A lot of people are just a lot of people don't realize, some people are amazed that I don't know, but there are some people who also don't know. So yeah, maybe it's a half and half thing.
Out more.
Probably. Christian Baltimore.
Watch the movie.
I will. Dude, it's made in 1997. I'm bound to love it. I'm bound to love it. It's made in the 90s. Christian says, simple question. Who is the best actor to play Spider-Man? I think Tom Holland. My fiance thinks Andrew Garfield. Who really is the best Spider-Man and why is it Tom Holland? Christian, your fiance is wrong.
Who's the one that comes out with Kristen Dunst? Because that's the only Spider-Man I've seen.
That's Tobey Maguire.
Oh, I like Toby. Is he
Yeah,
like
I mean,
terrible one?
No, it's fine. In fact, actually, me and Laurie on the Cineworld show this week were talking about Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, and was just like, yeah, he was the best Spider-Man at the time. He was the Spider-Man that we needed because, like, he was the best one that we had. Because, like, there were kids. If you're going to saddle up here, old man's about to talk. There was a period of time, kids, when comic book movies weren't a thing. So if there was a comic book movie made and the studio was taking it seriously, you bet your ass we were down there to go and see it. Oh, yeah, I went to go see all of them. I was there for Daredevil. I was there for Hulk. I was there for the Fantastic Four because I wanted my comic book movies to do well. And Tobey Maguire was up on screen. I was like, what a perfect Spider-Man, because he was the best that we had. And we were there to support him for it.
All I remember is Kristen Dunst, so.
Yeah, and do you know what? I was also thinking, like, what a perfect Mary Jane Watson. Perfect casting. In hindsight, she really wasn't. But either way, Andrew Garfield was the worst. Sam Sweeney said,
Wait,
with the return of...
Andrew Garfield like the new one?
No, Tom Holland's the new one. He's the best one. Tom Holland is actually like a great
When was Andrew
Spider-Man.
Garfield?
He was like 40, like playing an 18-year-old, and he looked every bit 40.
Him with somebody else then. I don't think it's the same Andrew that I know. I don't know.
Andrew Garfield, yeah, and he was one with Emma Stone. Emma Stone was a very good Gwen Stacy.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that one.
Sam Sweeney said, with the return of Eva Marie, I wanted to ask you what you think the big difference is between heel heat and X-Pac could go away heat. I mostly ask this because I want to see many people say that Eva Marie is a great heel because she gets a negative reaction. However, I feel like it's the wrong kind of heat because people don't want to see her and feel that she represents the worst part of women's wrestling. Feel the best heels are the ones that you love to hate, like MJF and Tommaso Ciampa. That is basically the difference there as between, and like, I think we are now moving past the time of using the term X-Pac heat, which I think was erroneously put onto Waltman in the first place. Poor old Waltman. Like, I have never, I know you are very good friends with Mr. Waltman. I have never spoken to him before. I have never interviewed him before. But if I ever got the chance, I would genuinely apologize for ever using the term X-Pac heat and being like, and being that guy on the forums being like, he's got X-Pac heat, because it's so unfair that Waltman got painted with that brush.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that it's still like,
still here
using it today to describe somebody else. Yeah, it's just one of those things that I guess sticks to everybody. But yeah, no, I agree. Obviously there's different types. There's the there's the Jackson Riker heat, Valkyrie heat.
Yeah, that's the new one. That's what we should be calling it, Riker.
And then there's that heat, then there's the Eva Marie heat, and then there's the like Tommaso Ciampa heat, like you just said. There's different types.
Yeah. Tommaso Ciampa heat was like, when he turned heel, man, that was one of my favorite periods of NXT, when he didn't have music and he would just come out to that chorus of boos. And then he would basically just spend 20 minutes just riling up the crowd by like tearing up signs and stuff. Dude, it was so great. Like that's a heel. Like MJF gets the great kind of heel reaction where it's like, this guy, man, I can't wait to see him get his ass kicked. That's the kind of, that's the good heel heat that you want.
Exactly. Versus the, I don't even want to watch him.
Oh, yeah, God, I don't even want to see this person right now. Right, I have a couple more from your Patreon mailbag. Who have we got next? Viola says, I'm not sure how to say this, but I feel like I'm ready to start wrestling, but I've no clue how to do it. It seems so hard to get the right info. I've got many character ideas, but I don't know how to get into the business. Do you have any clues for me?
Wrestling school. I don't know what area this viewer might live in, but I would probably Google wrestling schools nearby.
That's basically
research on them first.
Yeah, do your research, find a good school, speak if you can, speak to other local wrestlers in your area, find out where they trained and things like that.
Them online.
Yeah, stalk them online, exactly.
Online. That's a terrible advice. Do not listen to
that. Good Dharma says, hello, Papa Luke and Auntie Denise. What you guys love the most other than wrestling? For me, I work with design and stuff, and gaming would be my second most loved thing. What in mind do you think would be as happy to you working in than as your second area of choice? So basically, what is the thing you love the most outside of wrestling?
Well, everybody knows that I like music and Taylor Swift and TV shows and maybe movies, but not maybe to the extent I prefer TV shows. I like old movies, but in terms of dedicating my life to something, I would probably, instead of just reporting on wrestling, I'd probably just report on Well, I kind of already am doing that, though.
You are doing that.
I was going to say, I don't know if there's really anything else that I would be like able to dedicate my time to. Like all the things that I do, like I'm already dedicating my time to.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm not even sure wrestling's my first. I don't think it's my first love in the world. I think I'm more passionate about movies than I am about wrestling. Retro gaming, I certainly am. Oh, got this in the post today. Ghostbusters on the ZX Spectrum. Wife was thrilled about that one. Well, I have one last question from the mailbag from that guy who wants to support. This is more of an idea than a question, but it's not about wrestling, it's about media. I don't really believe in the concept of overrated. For example, Luke, you've been very open about your opinions on Game of Thrones, and as big a fan of this show as I am for the most part, you do have some good points. But would you say the show is overrated? It's okay to say that it's fine for you, but despite your opinions on the show, it's obvious that it does connect with a lot of people, and that can't be a mistake. It's not just for cartoons aren't for Denise, and sorry, Luke, Ghostbusters isn't for me. I think a lot of people are saying everything they don't like is overrated because they can't accept other opinions. I think to say something is overrated is like to say other people's perception is wrong. These are very few things I are comfortable to say are bad, like Raw, for example. But usually I would just say, it's not for me. Can you see my point? Or do you think I'm speaking nonsense?
So I don't think, like, for example, when I say cartoons, I don't think I ever said cartoons were overrated because I get that they're popular. They're not for me. But when I feel like when I use the term overrated, it's when I went out and saw something that was popular and realized that it was shit and people were just
Denise.
Oh, snap. 5515. I'm sorry, Luke. I really did try. Can we just approve the S word? Can I file?
No, because I've got it. It's not on. It's here is not so much of an issue. It's the audio version that I've got to do in post. Like that's the bit I've got to take it out of because otherwise I've got to flag it with the little e and we get like pushed out less. That's what I've been told.
Jesus, I don't have anything anymore. I forgot what I was talking about.
I mean, you did once say that Christmas was overrated, I believe.
Yeah, Christmas is overrated. I would still stick to that. Thank you. That's something. Yeah. There you go. That's an example. Everybody knows something. It's overrated. I've tried it. I've experienced it. It's all right.
Yeah, I would never say that I think that Game of Thrones is overrated because like it's a good show. Like it's perfectly fine. I caused a bit of a stir in our morning meeting today because I said that I've watched the penultimate episode of the show. I'm now literally one episode from the end, and I think it's been the same level of quality from start to end. I think this show, this series is just as fine as the others, just a bit too rushed because they had less episodes to do. But I think that's their fault.
You know what's overrated? Home Alone.
What's that? Well, is Home Alone overrated? I mean, I bloody love Home Alone. It is one of my. I watch it every single year when it comes to Christmas. Every single Christmas. My wife hates Home Alone. Absolutely hates it.
What's up?
Yep. Her direct quote is "It's too loud. It's too loud of a movie."
Is it really? I don't think I got that from him. I just got that it was boring.
No, she doesn't like it because it's just like the kid screams. She's like, the kid just does nothing but scream for the whole movie. And it's like, it's too loud.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think it's great though. Right, let's dive into the rest of your hyper chats here. So Michael said, maybe this change in the match, the Roman Reigns Rey Mysterio one, is reportedly because Vince recently thought the matches were too cold and wants more stakes in his matches. My theory is that others think it's thinks that it's false advertising and the match doesn't happen, and it does happen on pay-per-view. Well, according to Meltzer, it's not happening on the pay-per-view. It's just happening on SmackDown tonight.
Yeah, no. See, if they had always promoted it like that from the very beginning, then maybe we can say, oh, it'll get moved to Hell in a Cell. But the fact that it got moved from Hell in a Cell to SmackDown, I wouldn't think it's like false advertising.
CJ Lilly, so this is Chris, who we were speaking to earlier, said, I think from Monday, Alexa is listening to the criticism as she's moved Lily to the background. She seems more aggressive in the ring, using the character like Taker, the powers to the match, wrestle aggressively with skills, then powers afterwards. I would say that's all the same thing, Chris. It's all the same creative that are tackling this. Kevin says, my own personal prediction that I would love to happen is for either Eddie and Moxley to beat the Young Bucks in New York, and then or Eddie, Moxley, and TBA winning the trios belt in New York. Man, if Eddie could win something in New York, that'd be so rad.
That would be a nice little pop there.
New Punk Rants. Can we? Sorry, someone has just said that I call them Ultra. Yeah, sorry, you're right, absolutely right. They are Ultrachats, not Hyperchats. I think I called it Hyperchats. Sorry, Ultrachats. You're very right. New Punk Rants. Can we start a petition to change X-Pac heat to Riker heat? I'm excited to see Wardlow versus Hager tonight. Wardlow deserves everything. Give him everything. AEW. Anyway, what do you want most from Rampage? I just want Juventud Guerrera.
I just want an exciting show.
Yeah.
So much content out there. It's just got to be good.
What do you know what I would like for people not to? Oh, you're right there.
Sorry, I got a notification that Juneteenth is tomorrow.
Oh, how lovely!
Calendar app.
Here is what I would like for people not to instantly dismissive if the show doesn't get good ratings. To be like, that's dead. AEW's dead. What a dead company. Absolutely, they've fallen down the pan. Like that. That's what I would like from the show.
I think it's bound to happen. That's horrible. That's it. They're done. They tried.
That's it. They're done. They're dead. That's another TNA. What another dead product. Yeah. Scott Young said, I'm falling out of love with wrestling because of the quality of the TV product across USA. It just isn't that good at the moment. Raw is hopeless. AEW isn't as good as folks make it out to be. NXT is okay, but it's not what it used to be. And SmackDown is just Roman Reigns plus others.
I would probably try to check out some other stuff then, some like international stuff.
Yeah. Also, Impact's a good show. Easy Hockey Review said, surely the championship is coming home to LIW now. Well, we'll address this, Easy Hockey, because I think it's unfair that Laurie's big pick has been moved to SmackDown. Abnahab said, Luke, how can you be here and playing for Slovakia at the same time? Show Denise a picture of Hamsik to see the reaction. So JR interviewing Andrade had to be a rip. Who would you want to see his first feud be with? We answered that one last week about who we'd love to see Andrade face first in his first feud. But you've seen the footballer, Hamsik, the one that looks like me.
Dude, I thought somebody edited you like to look like a footballer. I was like, okay, great. And then I read your post and I was like, oh, this is a real person.
Oh, yeah. Looks a lot like me. And also, just for everyone's enjoyment, here is little old me. It's from 2005. That's me from 2005 doing student radio. Do you want a fun story to go behind? Do you want a fun story to go behind that photo?
Yeah. What is it?
I was trying to impress a girl that day. The girl that I was co-hosting that show with, I was trying to impress because I wanted to take her out on a date. And that is what I chose to wear. Say again?
Did it work?
Absolutely. Of course it did. Look at me. I'm in a baggy We Play t-shirt.
Ooh, your wife doesn't like that story.
With that mohawk? No way did it work. Of course it didn't.
Oh, it didn't work?
Of course it didn't work. No, look at the state of me.
Sad. That is so sad.
No, she was weird.
It never worked? Did you ever get your shot with this girl?
No, I didn't. No. She wasn't. She went into me.
That's just really sad. Sorry, Luke. But you know what? It happens to the best of us.
It's all right. I ended up with the right person in the end. William says, what does this mean for the Gem That Championship if they add another match because of Reigns Mysterio? Do you guys need to do a special 20 minutes part of the predictions? We will address this. We may just still count the results of the Roman Reigns match as if it was part of the Hell in a Cell prediction. So it may still count. Renee says, if you had to pick a character from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to embody the WrestleTalk staff, who would be who? For example, I think April would be Denise for obvious reasons. No, Denise can't. Denise isn't April. April O'Neil. She's the TV reporter.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
that she gets kidnapped, doesn't she?
Well, in the 80s version, yeah, but like in the much later version, she's a badass character in her own right. Like in the like the 2012 series, she's got like telekinesis, like she's got like special powers and stuff like that. She's a bit of a badass. But yeah, like so I don't think I would have you peg you down as an April.
So I'm not badass. Thanks a lot. I can't have telekinesis.
Oh no, hold on.
Howard.
Hold on.
I don't want to be a rat, okay?
You want to be Splinter.
I
Sean
do not
Splinter.
want to be the Splinter guy.
No, Sean Ross Sapp is Splinter.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I think I would peg you down more as a Michelangelo. I think that's he's the party dude. Michelangelo's the party dude who like
party person.
Dude, you're such a bubbly person. You're definitely the Michelangelo of the group. Okay, well you could be April.
Human.
Obviously, Laurie is Raphael. That is definitely, and I think as much as I loathe to admit it, Ollie is definitely Leonardo. And as much as I loathe to admit it, because he's my fave, I think Pete is Donatello because he's the tech guy, which I guess would then make me Michelangelo.
So we can't both be Michelangelo.
I want to be Donatello. Zachary.
What does he do, Donatello?
He does machines. He's the tech guy.
Oh, see, I don't remember what they did. Sorry.
He's also the one voiced by Corey Feldman in the movie. Zachary T. Robinson. Hey, Team Danuka, you both well? On the topic of Sully joining the WrestleTalk Cinematic Universe, when are we going to get a podcast between Denise and Sully? Still waiting on Johnny High Jump and Bobby Littlelegs radio serial Peanuts on the Up. Yeah, I mean, would you want to do a podcast with Sully?
What would Sully and I talk about?
You could talk about wrestling if you want. You could just talk about whatever you like. What would you want to talk with Sully about?
About pancakes. That was just the first thing that popped into my head.
Chris said, hi, Denise and Luke. Just saw the answer to my mailbag question. Thanks for that. It really gets tired sometimes. I'll aim to make some changes. FYI, I think it will be a full match on Sunday with small powers after the show. Love Denise action hero movies. Your action hero moves this week from Universal Studios.
That was fun.
See, you kept me April O'Neil. Do you know what?
There you go.
Talk about me getting worked. I legit thought you were in a movie. I was like, Denise is in a film?
A couple people thought that, and I was like, guys, this movie already came out.
I didn't know that.
The video's not out yet. So once in the video, I explain everything. I was like, I'm not going to go and explain right now. I'll explain when the video comes out.
Annika says, would you not want to be Casey Jones? Look, I'd love to be Casey Jones, but I ain't cool enough to be Casey Jones. Look, I ain't cool enough to be him. Nate said, Denise, when you were doing all the stunts and beating up the bad guys, did you have Tay-Tay's Look What You Made Me Do playing in your head? It looked like so much fun.
No, unfortunately, I couldn't grasp my Taylor Swift bad girl look. I was very nervous. I didn't realize how many people there were going to be watching me, and it made me very nervous. I was like,
Zachary also said... Zachary also adds a little something to go towards Denise getting a Jam That Jam tattoo alongside Tempest. I'm still waiting on Tempest to get that tattoo. You don't want to get Jam That Jam tattoo?
I ain't getting a nothing tattoo.
Chris says, Denise, why not get a white ink tattoo like Alexa? She's got loads of them. You'd never guess because they're white. Also, Rose murdered Jack. There was enough room on that door in the Titanic. Chris, it's been scientifically proven that if they both got on that door, it would have sunk.
I don't recall. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a white tattoo in person, but I kind of feel like, what's the point? Like, don't you want to get a tattoo to like make sure everyone sees it?
That's what I would have said. Yeah. Like that's for me. It's just that I don't want to get a tattoo just to hide it. Having said that, and having said that, like both of my tattoos are essentially hidden from view. No one sees them, with the exception of 2 out of the 3. Norm says, this is the WrestleTalk swear jar. This is for the WrestleTalk swear jar. Still on a WWE break. Hell in a Cell on SmackDown is dumb. No Mysterios in the match on Father's Day is a miss. Cheers, guys. And lastly, Alex says, hey peeps, if you had to choose someone other than Hangman Page to dethrone Kenny Omega, who would you have? Same question for Roman. The Roman one, me and Denise have said a few times before, and I'm stealing this answer from Sean. The right guy isn't there at the moment, so I have no idea on that one. But is there anyone you think for... Say again?
Jungle Boy, but like not right now though. See,
no,
that was
not right now.
Too late. It's not enough time.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I don't know who else it could be. Like he's the right answer. Like Hangman is the right answer. So it's almost like I can't think of another person who it could possibly be. But do you know what, Denise? That is all we've got time for on this edition of the WrestleTalk podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for your Patreon mailbag questions. Thank you so much for your Ultrachats that have come in as well. And thank you for watching along with Denise and I. We'll see you again next week, although we've got a busy weekend here on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. Tempest and Pete will be reviewing SmackDown tomorrow with that Hell in a Cell match, and we're doing live reactions to Hell in a Cell this coming Sunday, and on Monday, Laurie and I will be reviewing the show live at the usual podcast times. Denise, have you got anything you want to plug this weekend?
Make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo. That's where I promote all of my shows, and then youtube.com/Denise Salcedo.
Excellent stuff. Enjoy the football tonight, everyone. It's coming home. Vindaloo, Fat Les, and all that. We'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Have a good weekend. Jam that jam, everyone.